938 Live. 938 Live gets you talking. It takes more than just an apple a day to keep the doctor away. Shape up with Body and Soul. 938 Live.
Welcome to Body and Soul on 938 Live. You're with me, Deborah D'Souza. Today, we're investigating the effects of green tea, well known, by the way, to contain polyphenols and antioxidant properties to protect against cancer. And then we're also looking at reishi. The reishi mushroom has also been touted to have wonderful properties to protect against cancer. But for the first time in history, a group of doctors and scientists have now combined the two together in studies to see how they work together in protecting against cancer, particularly against breast cancer. Now, their findings are compelling. We're going to be finding out about the findings right now. And also, of course, if you have any questions at all about traditional Chinese medicine, its use for cancer, today with us is a TCM expert, and he is Dr. Josh Zhu, who is a Senior Director in Pharmacology and Clinical Affairs from Pharmanex Clinical and Pharmacology Centers in Beijing, China. And he, in fact, manages the China Clinical Pharmacology Lab there. He's responsible for all toxicological, pharmacological, as well as clinical research projects. Here's the number to call. It's 669-11938 if you have any question. Well, Dr. Chu, thanks so much for joining us today on Body and Soul. Pleasure to have you with us. Now, we want to start off first with getting a look at this particular study. Tell us about this study. When was it conducted? It's the first one that was done combining these two popular compounds against cancer.
This study was, the first study was done in United States, in Indiana University. This is a collaborator with Daniel Sliva, Professor Daniel Sliva. And we finished this study in 2005 and published in 2006. This is a study, this study was done in a cell-based cell culture study. And then following that, we did animal studies using intact animal, using cancer models, several cancer models to test the combination of lingzhi, or we call it reishi mushroom, and also the green tea extract.
All right. So, and what did this study find?
The study found synergistic effect. Before that, people already found lingzhi or reishi already have some efficacy in anti-cancer. And also people found tea polyphenols has a similar effect. Maybe the mechanisms of action are not the same. So combination of them, maybe there may be some kind of synergistic effect. So we put them together and found that they do show the synergistic effect.
Okay, how significant are the findings then? They were done in animals, what, rats?
Yeah, in rats and mice.
Mice, okay.
Different animal
and what did it particularly find in its protective?
We use two different models. One model is two models are very vigorous model. The first one is using the cancer inoculation model, and we test the survival rate, and really just measure the death hazard. And we found that there's a synergistic effect if we put reishi and the green tea extract together, and it shows a much better effect in prolonged the cancer-bearing mice, prolonged the life of bearing cancer rice.
Sure. So in prolonging the life, what about in actually destroying the cancer cells? Did it do that?
They do. We found that in the in vitro study, what we call that cell-based study, and if we use polyphenol, tea polyphenol alone, push those cancer cells going over to what we call the apoptosis, and that's a cell death process. And also reishi, some of the reishi active components show the similar effect and push cancer cell going over to apoptosis process.
Okay, so the term you use, the apoptosis, that's when the cancer cells just sort of automatically self-destruct and kill themselves.
That's right.
Yeah, so they do die in that sense. So there is some kind of suggestion that green tea on its own could just do that. And then now in this study, when you combine reishi mushroom with it, how much more? When we talk about, I'm not sure whether you can give us in percentage, how much more it can protect a person against cancer when you do add on reishi to green tea.
We are talking about concentrated reishi extract and green tea extract. And what we use is, in an animal study, the dosage is 600, a little bit more than 600 milligram per day. Equivalent to the human use dosage is 2 gram a day, 1 gram a day, 4 capsules, 1 gram a day. Yeah.
All right, so that's the amount that was used and shown to have some synergistic effects. And this kind of amount that was actually used in the study is something that it's difficult to just achieve if we were to consume green tea naturally, drink a few cups of tea a day and then eat some reishi mushrooms in one day.
That's right. The tea polyphenol is not very concentrated in the natural tea. And the study we used is a concentrated one, concentrated to 98% concentrated polyphenols.
Right. How much polyphenols or green tea do we have? How many cups of green tea do we have to drink to achieve that amount?
If we calculate it by the catechin, the content of catechin, the 1 capsule, 250 milligram capsule equal to 7 cups of tea, green tea.
A day, okay.
A day. Well, just 1 capsule equal to 7 cups.
Right, but then you need how many capsules a day?
You need 4 capsules a day, nearly 30.
Sure. And what about the reishi mushroom? How much must one consume if they're trying to take natural sources, rather than from a supplement source?
It's about the concentration rate is 1 to 20. What we recommend to take this extract is 4 capsules a day, so 1 to 20 concentration.
Oh, right. Okay, and that's quite a bit of mushrooms, we're talking about. So it's really quite difficult. If anybody is trying to, achieve those sorts of results, consuming natural food sources, it's going to be difficult, but then because you have concentrated them all, for example, if they're found in a capsule form and supplement form, then that people can get that. Now, my question also on traditional Chinese medicine for cancer, for its use in cancer, there is a lot of debate, because it is considered alternative medicine, and with Western medicine, for example, they might not fully understand how TCM can work for cancer, particularly because with the Western medicine, they like to follow more rigorous trials, clinical trials, the double-blind randomized trials. But with TCM, have they also undergone such rigorous training to stand up to the test and of people who are questioning it?
For clinical studies, there are many different ways to test the therapeutic agent, for example, the Western drug or the TCM herbs. Double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized trial, this is one way we test, pretty much used in pharmaceutical companies. But also in a clinical trial, in the scientific field, other trials are also used. For example, the epidemiological studies also used. For developing a new agent, double-blind trial is almost very commonly used. For this particular combination of green tea extract and lingzhi extract, we are following with clinical studies and will be done in the future.
Right.
Near future.
Okay,
yes.
So you're going to be testing it on humans then, just
That's
to see
right.
how it really works. Now, right now, we only understand how it works perhaps in mice. Yes?
That's right. And
okay.
rats.
And in rats. And it's been shown to be, quite promising, really. Yes?
That's right.
Now, people always do tests on rats and mice, and is that because they're for biological setup is very similar to a human setup?
Those are all mammals, very close to the human physiology, and those are the model we use. Those models we use for testing, commonly used for testing therapeutic agents.
Okay, so if it works, then there's a great possibility it could possibly work in humans as well.
That's right.
Taking a look at some other types of traditional Chinese medicine herbs then that are well known for protecting cancer, apart from green tea and reishi, are there any other ones that to you seem more promising?
For cancer, I think most commonly used is green tea and lingzhi, and also other herbs. We can see quite a lot of clinical reports, but we have to consider therapeutic effect and also the safety, and there's a long way to go. Actually, in the TCM field, there are several herbs has been used, but here I don't call that cancer drugs, and we can use that as an adjuvant therapy, the alternative therapy.
Okay, well, I do understand that in fact some kind of mushroom, I'm not sure if it's the reishi mushroom itself, that's being, some compound in it is actually being used, isn't it, for cancer drugs, even in Western medicine?
Yeah, many different mushroom product has been used for different diseases. For cancer, yes, and also for cardiovascular diseases, for metabolic diseases,
right,
and more used in metabolic diseases.
Right, so that's well proven then to be very beneficial. Now, when people are asking about what kinds of green tea or reishi mushroom should they look out for, because I'm sure there are different grades. When I was in Japan, for example, just looking for green tea, they had different grades, and they all cost differently as well. So some are more potent than others. Tell us about how to look for good grades.
We are look at a few factors. One is in this green tea product, how much polyphenol they concentrated. This is one factor. Secondly, we look at how much caffeine left in the capsule. So this is a two-way we look at. The reason we look at that is polyphenol, we know those are the active components and actively against the cancer cells, and also protect DNA, and those are also the antioxidant. But caffeine is the one we particularly look at for safety, and people don't want to take too much caffeine into the body. That's not good for the body.
Is there caffeine in green tea naturally?
Yes, it's high concentrated, but so that's why we have to look at the caffeine, how much caffeine left in the green tea.
Because some
extract.
people think there isn't caffeine in green tea. They have this notion.
It is.
But there is caffeine in green tea.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. And when this test was done, looking at the synergistic properties of green tea and reishi against cancer, was it specifically looking only at breast cancer or all cancers in general?
Actually, we look at several cancer models, cancer cells, breast cancer and the prostate cancer and the colon cancer and some leukemia and sarcoma cancer cells as well.
Okay, yep. And talking about leukemia, earlier we had a question from somebody who called up, and he wanted to know how traditional Chinese medicine could be used for an elderly person who is suffering from leukemia. Have there been some interesting findings in that area?
Leukemia in elderly people is a really hard, very difficult medical problems. And myself, I have my father-in-law, and who suffered leukemia at the age of 85, which is physician told us, well, family, you need to prepare 3 to 6 months. And actually, we gave him reishi extract and the green tea, and also the cordyceps sinensis.
Which one?
Cordyceps sinensis,
cordyceps. Right.
Yeah. So he left 2.5 years.
Wow.
And 3 times reached a clinical remission.
Did he receive any other treatment apart from green tea and reishi?
Physician gave him short-term anti-cancer drug and a very low dose, and really not to, the purpose is not to achieve a clinical remission.